The Jesus Trilogy, Book 2, Then There Were Two, Chapter 27, Part A. Mary had been home for the weekend. School was very difficult. She had found out there were some other very intelligent people in the world. Competition at Capernaum University was keen. She was so happy to see her husband. She had gotten in very late Friday night, but her love was waiting up for her, albeit half asleep in his chair. She ran to him, sat on his lap, and began to kiss him all over. This led them to the bedroom, where they spent the wee hours renewing their acquaintance. As dawn broke, the lovers finally collapsed in each other's arms. The happy couple slept through breakfast. Jennifer was up as usual. She always made a lot of noise. Jesus thought it must be on purpose as an attention-getter. She would often wake him with the clanging of pots and pans, but he didn't mind. He loved his sister. He was so very lonely since Mary had gone to school. Some nights were so unbearable he thought he would die. But this morning the two lovers heard no noise, despite Jennifer's being louder than usual. They were in a state of blissful exhaustion that no earthly sound could disturb. And nothing did until noon. Mary had to do some studying that weekend, and Jesus had to do some carpentering. Saturday night, though, Jesus had arranged to take Mary to the restaurant where he had proposed to her. Of course, Mary, his mother, and Jennifer and her boyfriend went along. The conversation was light and happy. Mary was a voracious eater, yet she always stayed thin, a perfect figure. Jennifer's boyfriend, Thad, was a star linebacker on the freshman football team. Jesus thought he would never quit eating. The rest were talking and sipping sweet wine while Thad kept pouring food down the chute. Finally, after 6 different desserts, he hit the wall. To Jesus' surprise, the waiter recognized him and Mary. In fact, the maitre d' actually came over, and together they reminisced a little bit about that eventful evening when Jesus proposed to his lovely bride. Jesus got red-faced a couple of times during the conversation, but all laughed heartily. Jesus and Mary could not remember when they had been so happy. Life just seemed to get better and better with each passing day. During the middle of this mayhem, Jesus' mother excused herself to go to the powder room. When she came back, they all noticed she was very pale. "What's wrong, Mom?" Mary asked. "Nothing. Maybe something I ate." But Mary could see the telltale signs of tears in her eyes. Mary sat down next to her, put her arm around her, and Jesus' mother began to cry openly. "It's okay, it's okay. I just wish Joseph was here. I missed him so much." "We all do, Mom," Jesus said. He was very sympathetic, but always uncomfortable around crying. He had done a little himself, for which he was ashamed. Well, there was nothing wrong with it. But why did anyone have to cry? Why couldn't people just always be happy? He had also wondered why babies had to cry. Why couldn't they laugh when they needed attention? He didn't know, but someday he vowed to find out. If he had his way, he would stop all crying in the world. He would have everybody laugh and smile and joke all the time. He loved to listen to funny stories, clean stories. He was a good storyteller despite his quiet demeanor. He told a couple of good ones tonight. He had everybody in stitches more than once. His humor was dry but infectious. Obed and Leah got married. On their honeymoon trip, as they were nearing Jerusalem, Obed put his hand on Leah's knee. "You can go a little farther now if you want, Obed." So Obed drove on to Bethlehem. This joke brought the house down at supper. He needed to somehow cheer up his mother, so once he got them laughing again, he told a story about his father Joseph. Joseph had been showing a customer one of his fine mahogany cabinets. The customer was a beautiful Roman soldier's wife. Constantium, I think, was her name. She had come all the way down to Nazareth to see Joseph's work. She was wearing this gorgeous white dress and much fine gold jewelry, so much as to double her weight. Well, not quite, but it was a lot. Anyway, Dad starts showing her the inside of the drawers, and she leans over to look when suddenly, out of the blue, through the shop door, in races Pretzel, the neighbor's wiener dog. Somehow Dad lost his balance and fell face first on the floor. In the process, he pulled over a jar of dark cherry wood stain. Well, you guessed it, splat. The stain landed all over the front of the senator's wife's pristine white designer dress. As he finished, the whole table burst into laughter, despite the fact that only Thad had not heard this story before. Jesus remained amazed at how a funny story was even when he retold it over and over again. The cacophony lasted for about 10 minutes. It was infectious, and eventually the whole restaurant was roaring, even though most didn't know at what. And I bet she never bought that cabinet, Thad finally said, his voice carrying over the din. As he spoke, he accidentally spit out a maraschino cherry onto Jen's white dress. The ensuing laughter led to uncontrolled crying as they all pointed to a red stain on Jen's white dress. Finally, Jesus, who always got out his punchline, said, and on her way out she tore her dress clear up to the thigh. And to this day, she has never stepped foot in Nazareth again. The party couldn't stop laughing. They couldn't stop crying. This was only crying that Jesus loved.